When we talk about tarot or we're learning tarot, we tend to focus a lot of attention on the major arcana. And that's as it should be, because they are, of course, very weighty, important cards. But a lot of times it seems like we're ignoring the vast majority of the cards in the deck, and that would be the pip cards. We're going to be talking about pip cards this week and kind of a shortcut method for learning to read them. That and our Sunday morning spread coming right up. Hello friends, Brian Noe with you from Cards of Light. Thank you for joining me once again this week. If you are a regular viewer of this program, I really, truly appreciate you coming back around. Also, if you are new here, welcome, and please do subscribe to this channel so you'll get all of our content as soon as it comes out. And also, before we begin, if everybody could just give this video a thumbs up real quick, I'd appreciate that. That will help this channel reach more people. We will have our tarot card reading for the week to come coming up in just a few moments here, but I want to talk this time about the pip cards. When we're learning tarot, lots of attention given to the major arcana, as it should be, and lots of people focus a lot of attention on the court cards as well. But I think the pip cards kind of get short shrift sometimes. And when you think about it, there are 78 cards in the deck, 40 of them are pips. And if you don't know what a pip is, I'm talking about the 10, like the ace through 10s of each suit. So 4 suits, 10 of each, that's 40. That's over half of the deck. And the probability of you turning up a pip card each time that you turn over a card is actually higher than it is for the rest of the cards in the deck. So it's important that we know how to read these. In like the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and I think part of the reason for its popularity is that each card is depicting a scene that kind of gives you an example of the energy of that card. So we can see the 5 of swords as sort of disruption and winners and losers, that kind of thing. With some decks, like the Thoth deck as an example, where there'll be a little keyword on the card that you can use for reading. And so you can use that until you kind of really get used to and really learn the deck. But if you're using one of the more traditional older decks, like the J.J. Swiss or the Tarot de Marseilles, then all you're seeing is kind of the rank and suit on those pip cards. And so it can be a little more challenging to read those until you really have gotten intimate with the tarot and have got the meanings kind of down. So we can approach this by memorizing meanings. We can use the kind of reading a card a day method, pulling a card a day and learning about it and journaling about it that I've mentioned before until we really learn these. You can also work through things like the astrological associations with each of the cards. And you can work with the Hermetic Kabbalah and the Tree of Life and all of those kinds of associations to learn these cards. But again, big learning curve on all of those. So if you want to begin reading kind of right away with these cards, I'm going to present a simple method for doing that. And I learned this from Vincent Pitisci. And I will link out to a downloadable PDF resource that he has on this. So that will be helpful if you're going to try and use this method for reading pips. But basically, he just assigned a keyword or a description to each of these 10 cards without regard to the suit that they're in. And then when you're reading, you can just draw on, you're only having to memorize kind of 10 meanings, 10 card meanings for all of these 40 cards. And although there are some nuances, you could just use those meanings regardless of what suit came up. Now, I'm also going to give you a quick trick in a little bit here that you can kind of vary them based on what suit comes up. But I'm just going to go through his listing of these cards and kind of his ideas for them, and give you some examples and everything. So for the aces, his keyword was new concept. So this is the kind of first idea of the expression of a suit. It is, before it becomes real in the world, it's an idea, it's a concept. Twos for Pitisci were choices. And I tend to think of that position as anything that comes in pairs. So choices, partners, that sort of thing. Kind of pairs of positive, negative, that sort of thing for the twos. But his keyword was choices. Threes, creativity. And so I think of this as moving from the ace, which is sort of the first idea or expression of a suit. Twos, where you're making decisions, you're developing partnerships. Threes are when you're really beginning to be creative and bring that idea into what we experience as a material reality, or into the human experience at least. And then fours, he has his stability. So think about the four legs of a chair or a table, something that's really solid. So we've gone from an idea now to something that is real in some way, shape, or form. Fives, change. So that energy now has gone to the four where it's stable, and now it's starting to kind of break up again, and we get some surprises and some unpredictability there maybe. Sixes, Pitisci has as perseverance. And I think of that as kind of regaining the balance that's lost with the five. So we've got this energy kind of beginning to disperse and then kind of congealing back into something that is a little more stable and a little more balanced. Sevens, Pitisci has as experience. And I think of that rank as sort of the shadow side of an individual suit. So it may be deception. It may be temptation, that sort of thing. But we're going out of balance again there with the sevens to a certain extent. Eights, Pitisci has as advancement. And I think of that as things are moving forward again. We're not really in a stable situation, but it's also not kind of the difficulty that can come from the fives and the sevens. We're beginning. It's not that beautiful sweet spot of the sixes, but we're beginning to kind of move forward. Nines, attainment. So this is when we're getting near the end of those 10 cards. So we're beginning to see something that is maybe more mature. We're getting near the end of the cycle. So attainment is what Pitisci would say. I would say maybe maturity. But we're getting near the end of the expression of that suit in these 10 cards. And then 10's completion. So it's the end of a cycle. Pitisci has it as completion. You could think of it as fulfillment. You could think of it as wrapping up and moving on, because nothing ever stays the same. Things are always changing in what we experience as material reality. So that's like the last expression of the suit before we kind of make a return and begin the cycle again. Pitisci would read these in most often as almost without regard to what suit they were. So if he was in a reading and a 2 came up, he would say, okay, this is time to make a decision. If a 5 came up, he said, okay, well, things are going to be changing. So if this was a 3-card spread and you had 2s in the first position, it would be like, okay, the time for decisions is past. We've done that now. And if there was a 5 in the second, he would say, okay, we're right now we're experiencing a period of change, that sort of thing. If a 4 was the 3rd card, then, well, we may see some stability coming into the picture here before long. And again, without kind of regard to what suit most of the time. Obviously, his mastery of the deck, there was a lot more nuance than what I've just described, but that was basically how he recommended reading these pip cards. Something that can be helpful if you want to sort of add a little bit more than just these kind of keywords to those 10 cards is to think about the energy of an individual suit. So we've got the pentacles or coins or discs, depending on what deck you're reading with, that are the suit of the earth. So think about the new idea. So for the aces, a new concept or a new idea or the first expression of the suit of the earth. So I think of that as planting good seeds, maybe, if I see that coming up in a reading. Cups, the suit of the element of water, the suit of emotions and social interactions and that sort of thing. So if you have like a 4 of cups that comes up, you can say, well, there'll be some stability emotionally or socially here. So it's stability of the heart. Think about in the Rider deck, the 4 of swords and that depiction of, the knight kind of in repose there. Stability of the mind. So you see how that works. Wands, the suit of fire, the suit of the spirit. And so 5 of wands would be sort of disruption or change or contention in the realm of the spirit, the things that the part of our lives that is related to meaning and legacy and that sort of thing. So you apply the keywords to those elements or dimensions that each of the suit represents. And then you're also applying them to the position in the card spread. So you've got some variables there to consider, and this is what makes tarot reading so much fun, is because the creativity involved. It's not just the knowledge of, okay, here's what this card means, here's where it is on the table, and so here's what it tells us. It opens up this whole world of interpretation and creativity. And so this is just kind of an easy way to get started with those 40 cards. It was really instrumental as I was learning. It was one of the reasons I was able to begin working with the Tarot de Marseilles, because I had been only working with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck early on, and I was a little afraid of the pip cards. And so this approach to them helped me kind of begin working with them. And still, I'll rely on this a lot of times in readings, even working with other decks besides the Tarot de Marseilles. This also then made me less fearful to begin with the Thoth deck, because it does not have depictions. It has the keyword, and the artwork is a good depiction of the energy, but it's not like a literal example. And so it's a little challenging to begin with that deck. And had I not had this approach to begin to work with the Marseille, then I wouldn't have ever gotten around to the Thoth deck that I use most of the time. So it is a pretty powerful approach to these cards. It's certainly not the only one that you could use, and it has its limitations. Uh, Although, if you work with this approach long enough, obviously, and bring your own creativity and stuff to it, it opens up this whole world. But it is you can go deeper than just this approach. Let's put it that way. I hope this is helpful. I'd love to hear what you think. If you've got questions about this, if you have used this approach to reading, I'd love to hear how you apply it. And if you begin down this road, I'd like to hear your experience with it as time goes on. You can either leave comments here with the video or pop on out to the weblog at tarotjourney.com and get in touch with me there. Let's go now to the table for our tarot card reading for the week to come. Okay, this time around we are using Vincent Pitisci's Tarot de Marseilles deck. And we're going to do 3 cards. We're going to look at things to stop doing, things to continue doing, and things to start doing. And our first card is the 8 of Cups, things to stop doing. Our second card, things to continue doing, is the 8 of Coins. Then finally over here in things to start doing, we have the Queen of Coins. So 2 pip cards, a court card, 1 from the suit of cups, 2 from the suit of coins this time. Let's take these one at a time. In this first position over here of things to stop doing, we have the 8 of Cups card. And this is sometimes the card of recovery. It's the card of just walking away from something that is not serving us very well anymore. And I have a sense in this reading that this is about the tension between a personal relationship versus relationships within an entire group. So this could be a relationship with a child or a spouse within the context of the broader family unit. And so if we are feeling frustrated somehow about that kind of situation, I think this is a cue to quit putting so much emphasis on other people's expectations. Just do the right thing with that individual relationship. Try to make sure that all of our motivations are about being kind and loving and that sort of thing. Work on those individual relationships and let the group dynamic sort itself out. So stop trying to cater the way that we act with others based on the group's perception and the group's expectations and that sort of thing. That's the way I would see that one. If this is resonating with you somehow, get in touch. I'd love to chat about it and hear more about what is going on in that situation. But okay, we get to things to continue doing. We have this 8 of Coins. And this is the card of slow and patient advance based on repetition. This is the card in the Rider deck that we see the person who is kind of carving out pentacles, and they're making one after another. Practice making perfect. And so keep on with that. If there is skill building that we need to do and that we're already engaged in, then we need to keep on with that. We may be at this point getting kind of frustrated with a lack of progress, but if we just keep working at it, keep plugging away at it, keep practicing, eventually we'll be able to build that skill to where it just becomes automatic. The temptation here is then to just continue to churn things out without kind of the human touch. So that is a balance as well. But right now is a time for skill building, I would say, is what the message of that card is. Then over here, in something to begin doing, we have the Queen of Coins. And this is the card of hospitality. and offering practical aid and comfort to other folks. And so, if we have been wrapped up in concerns about relationships within the group, and have been spending a lot of time working on skill building of some sort, maybe taking us away from the relationship side of things, here is a cue to really focus on that, on personal relationships in a way that is of immediate practical comfort to others. So this could be cooking a meal. This could be, taking time to sit down for a good long chat with somebody, spend some time in, go bowling together, something along those lines. Some kind of fun activity where you can kind of let your hair down and enjoy each other, but in a very kind of practical, direct way. That is the way I would see these cards. I would love to hear what you think. You can either leave comments here with the video or pop on out to the weblog at atarojourney.com and get in touch with me there. Thank you for joining me once again this week. We will be back soon with more for you. In the meantime, as always, I wish you peace. Take care of yourself.